Hi guy, welcome to my top 5 gaming moments of all time video. Again, this is a very personal video because I'm sure everybody has a top 5 moments in a game that they've really enjoyed experiencing. It really stands out in their memory. It's either it's made a difference to the life, or it's just made them laugh like a loon, or made them really sad, that sort of a thing. But thinking back for this video, there's so many things I could do, so many games I could go over, but these are what most stand out in my mind. And again, I'm a bit of an oddball, so don't be worried too much if you don't agree with any of these. Number 5 is how to describe this one. This is Earthworm Jim. And there's a moment in it with a cow. I'm sure everyone knows this to death, but you start off right at the beginning of the game. You Jim, the space suit alien suit's landed on you. You've got power suit. He takes over and he becomes super strong and he can shoot things and stuff. And as you go into this junkyard level, you've come across a weird setup where there's a cow on basically a junkyard setup of a catapult, and you drop off and land on this, and then this cow just launches, and that's the end of it. And it says like cow launches, and you just think, oh, okay, because the rest of the game, it's absolutely bonkers sort of humour. It's that childish teenage nut job humour. It's fantastic. Still stands up to this day. And then you go through the rest of the game, and there's nothing. There's no more cows, no more mention, and you just think it just slips your mind. It's just one of them odd things in a level, and then you get to the end of the game. You have a massive fight with a big queen slime bot or whatever she's called, because you're rescuing a princess, typical Mario scenario. And then you walk off to the right after you've done the boss, and she's stood there and she's blowing him kisses and things, and you think, oh yeah, I've saved the day. And you get a little cartoon moment where he changes into like that old classic Tex Avery cartoon wolf with a heart popping out of the chest and the eyes going big, that sort of thing. And then all of a sudden, the cow just lands on and squishes her, and then they both fall into the lava. And then Jim's just stood there like absolutely speechless. And luckily, a crown falls off, so I've just spoiled the end of the game there. But it's just bonkers. It's just it's poor Jim. But it's just one of the things that stands out in my memory. It's just absolutely awesome. Anyway, that bloody worm. Anyway, the 4th favourite gaming moment has to be, it's a Shadow of the Colossus, and it's when you see the very first Colossus. I mean, there's moments throughout that game. It's gorgeous. It's an experience in itself. I mean, forget playing it as a game. Just go and explore around. I mean, there's no baddies or anything. There's only the bosses, and you explore. And it's beautiful. I replayed it on the PS3 and when the HD edition, and they'd done it up a bit from the PS2, and it was just fantastic. I'm even tempted to get it again because you can get it now via the PS4 store. But anyway, so you come along and you see this big rock statue, and it starts lumbering around, and you're looking at it, and you're hopping about and scratching it, and thinking, well, I have to get that and kill that somehow. And then you realise you have to clamber on it and climb up to the top and grip on while it's trying to shake you off, and get on top of its head and then stab it with your sword. And it was just, and then you take it down, and it's just, my God, what an experience, the whole thing from start to finish. And again, you get similar moments throughout the game, but that first Colossus, when you just come across it, you've had to climb through all these cliffs and stuff, and you pop down into a little valley, and it's there. Absolutely amazing. Yeah. Anyway, on to my 3rd top gaming moment. This is a bit of a funny one, but again, it's one of the things that's always stood out in my mind for years and years, and I suppose it was supposed to be a shock moment at the time, but in COD 4, Modern Warfare, I think that's the right title, yeah? I mean, there's been so many COD games, and I just don't play them anymore, so I don't know if they've improved on this. I know every year they would create like a shock moment in a single player campaign, but the first one that I ever saw that still sticks with me this day, 'cause it was so odd. You have to stop a nuclear bomb in this early level, like going through deserts type, like an Afghanistan style. It might even be Afghanistan, I can't remember. But you go through, you shoot your way through, and you're this hero character doing all the usual stuff. And then you just don't save it. You just don't do it in time, and it's just part of the game. Sorry, spoilers by the way. And the nuclear bomb goes off, and you think, bloody hell, there's all footage, it's bomb sure enough, it's all flicks off in the distance, and because you're on a helicopter just before it goes off, and then the helicopter crashes, and you're still there, and it shows you, and you wake up, and you're struggling, and you know, and he's panting and breathing because he can't breathe, and he survived the nuclear explosion, also you think, and then you start crawling through the wreckage, and you can crawl outside and look around and stuff, and you see the after effects of this nuclear bomb, and then you die. And it was just such a... I remember sitting at a time and I was playing, and it was just like, bloody hell. It's like, Jesus Christ, it was just so shocking and so amazing. I've never seen anything in a game like it since, but again, it was just, what a moment of just shock and awe. And again, in all later games, they kept trying to do stuff like that, and there was one, I think, in a Russian airport where you were part of a terrorist group, and you had to you can choose to shoot the civilians or not. I think if you didn't shoot the civilians, anyway, that's a different game, but that was probably the biggest attempt they made, and it just didn't work. It just didn't work, and from what I know, none of the other games ever went as good as that nuclear bomb. Anyway, my second, number 2, would be Majora's Mask. Now, I was never a big fan of this game at the time. I was too obsessed with Ocarina. But I played it as you do, and played it through and stuff. Didn't just because I preferred playing as adult Link, and I just because you went through that adventure in Ocarina of Time, and you grew up, basically you grew into the older character, and suddenly you're being dropped into the sequel as the kid character. And to me at the time, it just felt off. It was a very good game, don't get me wrong, but some would say it's better than Ocarina, but it just didn't feel right to me. Again, I'm an oddball though. But yeah, the point in it which really stands out in my mind is you don't really know what's going on. You're going all the masks and stuff and things that are going on, and you've got your Ocarina and things, and and you're playing them. You get to the end of the first day, and then the moon with a big smiley face on crashes into the town and just destroys everything. And it was just such a, because you don't expect it to happen, you don't know what the hell's going to, it's part of the game. And the first time seeing it, I was just gobsmacked. It's like, bloody hell, what's happened? And then, it all resets and everything, and then you realise that's how the world works, because you're trying to save it in those last 3 days. And it's just a very outstanding moment. And again, it deserves to be on a lot of lists. Anyway, my number 1 game moment has to be, this is probably quite a depressing one, but it's Final Fantasy VII, and I've said many times how much I love this game. Now, everyone will probably go mad when I call her Eris, but that's the translation I read as a kid. It's whenever I see it, that's the name of that. I know it's Erif, but to me it's Eris. It will always be Eris. It's in my head. It won't go away. I see that character on the screen. Oh, it's Eris. I just can't stop it. It's there. But the depth of her character. You spend so long getting to know her, and there's like a love triangle between her and Tifa, and it all builds. I mean, replaying it, it still stands out as a really good relationship between the characters. You really get to know her, and you're getting on with the other one, and it's all like, will he, won't he? Are they going to end up together? But then Tifa's on the sidelines, and she's really close to him, and you get to this point where basically she's gone to get the white materia or hull or whatever to save the planet, and then the big baddie Sephiroth just drops through the ceiling and just impales her with his massive sword. Doesn't that sound dodgy? And at the time I was just like, oh my god. I mean, I think even then I was obsessed with the game, and I'd really leveled them up a good way, and I remember every game every time I play after that as another playthrough, I'd always try and max out her level, just see what she'd be like to play with as top level character. She doesn't get very much more powerful than what you can actually see on a normal playthrough, sadly. But yeah, just such a great standout moment, and the whole bit and the depth afterwards, where he walks out into the water and then lays her down, and she sinks into the depths. And I was a teenager at the time, and it was like, oh my god, this is amazing. And yeah, I said lots of other things I could have named. I mean, there's Shenmue is always one of them that pops up in my mind with moments. But these are the best, I think, that stood out in my mind. I'm sure you guys have a lot of different ones, so by all means guys, post them in the comments below. As always, thanks for watching, and please look forward to another video soon.